Have you ever had a theory that Theory of Everything 2 is the hardest RobTop demon? Well, I'm here to tell you that is not true. Well, at least for me, I think Deadlock's the hardest one. But to the people who do think that this level is very difficult, then this is the video for you, because we are going to be nerfing this level from top to bottom by giving your ship a shield and making your ball game mode act like an actual bouncy ball. What I'm saying is we're going to nerf Theory of Everything 2 into an easy level. No more struggling today, ladies and gentlemen. For the people who cannot beat Toad 2, this is the level for you. Alright, enough yap, let's start the process. Starting off with the beginning cube, you know, it's pretty simple, it's just a bunch of fake orbs. And just like my skill when playing demon levels, we're going to remove it. So now there's no hazard in the road, you could just click freely and you'll survive. Another nerf we could do is replace this blue pad with a yellow pad. Reason being is that I just think it's fun. Ooh, but we're gonna have to do something about that, aren't we? Well, I'll tell you one thing we can do. Just add another yellow pad. Yep, kind of like that. And we just do not need this orb at all, but I mean, we could keep them. I introduce to you Orby the Orb. I introduce to you Orby the Orb. This guy made his debut in my blast processing nerfing video, so yeah, we're gonna do the same thing over here. Add more pads. Because pads are super great. They're the best mechanic in this game. And if you disagree, you're wrong. Well, actually, no, some other mechanics are pretty good. But pads are definitely up there. Honestly, it's kind of funny how the formula for this section is just remove fake orbs, add pads. Like, those are the most obvious nerfs of all time that I think I might just skip this section and head on over to the ship part. You guys already got the gist of what we're gonna do today, so let's just skip on over. Oh hey, welcome back. I'm glad you didn't click off. But anyway, as I was saying, this was the part where the nerfing gets more interesting. And that's mainly because we're gonna mess around with the different game modes in this level. The cube is basically just gonna be the breakpoints in this level, you know, just your standard easy nerfs. And the ship part's gonna have something like, alright, you can shoot blocks now. And I think that's very funny for no reason, so I actually want to do it. But instead of shooting blocks, we're going to protect the player from the blocks. How are we going to do that? Simple solution. We're just going to add a single bubble. But this ain't no ordinary bubble. It's actually a protection shield. What does it protect you from? It protects you from blocks, spikes, and even getting a job. So this thing is just a safety sphere. Now, what we could have done to make this a little bit more simpler is by adding slopes everywhere in the ship part. You know, that would have been easy. But no, that's boring. So we're actually going to do something fun with this level, i.e. adding a protection bubble. Look at that thing. It's beautiful. Alright, so we got the gimmick down using the advanced follow triggers. So now it's time to actually nerf this part. We're going to hop into a different layer, and now we're going to add some slopes everywhere. Look, as I said earlier, this part would have been way easier to nerf if we just place slopes regularly and not have the bubble. But the thing is, that would be boring. And ain't nobody likes boring stuff. And that's why we added the safety sphere, because, you know, it's a fun addition. It makes this part, like, a little bit more fun. And the best part is, you can't actually die to any of this, so you could just mess around in this part if you want to. Who doesn't like goofing around, you know? Now, I know they look very ugly right now, but just a reminder, we're going to be removing them in 3, 2, and kablamo! It's almost like they've been alpha triggered. Alright, now let's see if this part works with the safety sphere. Oh, you can die to that? What do we do with this first coin? I think for right now, we could just remove it. Because I feel like the coin would be significantly nerfed if we take away the disprivilege to die. I mean, no one likes dying in this game. But if there's no challenge, why bother? Alright, so we got the gist down for the ship part. Now it's time for the UFO section. Before we enter the UFO section, I'm gonna take away the safety sphere because it's a ship mode exclusive. You gotta pay for the DLC. It's like 20 bucks, I think. Oh yeah, I haven't even told you what I'm gonna do with this UFO part. I'm just gonna remove all of the spikes once more, because removing spikes is literally the backbone of nerfing. Removing spikes makes a level 1,000 times easier. Now you may be thinking, aw, that's not fun. And if you are thinking that, then I kindly request of you to bite your tongue. Don't actually do that though, it's a figure of speech. That's like saying it's raining cats and dogs and there's no cats and dogs. Man, I just want a new best friend and y'all over here messing with me. Anyway, what we're gonna do here is remove the UFO's gravity. Well, not remove it, we'll just decrease it slightly. Maybe 0.75? I think that could work. So it'll essentially just give you like a jump boost or something like that. Gosh, the ball. There will be absolutely no hazards in this section aside from the saw blades, but I mean, because I feel like adding the saw blades makes this a less boring experience. But I won't add too many saw blades because I want this to be like a mess around part. You can just mess around with the UFO's gravity. So yeah, that's basically what I'm doing here. Anyway, it's ball time. As I said in the intro, we're gonna make the ball game mode behave like an actual bouncy ball, which means that we're gonna make it bounce whenever it hits the ground. And the way we're gonna do that is by hiding yellow pads in the ground. We'll make them visible for now, but later on, we will make them invisible. Actually, never mind. Let's make them pink pads, because they are quite dangerous. Oh, you know what it is? It's the fact that I still have the stinking gravity thing on. There we go. Now we have some reasonable gravity. Alright, now it's time to lock in my plan on what I wanted to do for the first coin. As you can see, there's these orb structures right here. And then there's also a collectibles tab. And there's mini coins. And guess what? You can collect the mini coins. So now you just put 2 and 2 together and you'll get the rest. Collect mini coins, get big coin. Each of these coins will have their own separate challenge to make them a little bit more fun. So yeah, let me work on these bad boys and then I'll tell you all about them. Now, I will teach you how to collect all 3 of these mini coins. For the first coin, you have to click a secret blue orb inside of the ball portal. Can you see it? So basically, you just have to click it while you're in the UFO section. Like that. The second coin uses a toggle trigger, which if you click it, it brings the coin down. And the third coin is just a precise timing. You just have to click from here to there. And you also get to be mini in this UFO section, so that's fun. I say we did pretty good for this ball section. Now we have a grasp of what we want to do for the rest of this level. It's a bunch of simple ideas, but they are quite fun. And as for this cube part, we're just gonna skip over it because, you know, it's a basic cube part. There's nothing to do here. I mean, what else can we do in this part? Remove the fake orbs? Okay, actually, yeah, we are gonna do that. Thank you very much. But one thing I will talk about, though, is these fake blocks. Now, this part may look intimidating at first, but it's really easy. I've played Toe 2 so many times to the point where this is just muscle memory for me. But the way we're gonna nerf this part is by just making it obvious where you have to go. I will remove this orb though, because remember, easiest level ever. It's not actually the easiest level ever, but who cares, honestly? And now it's even easier. It's not even easy at this point, it's just auto. Which I guess kind of counts, because auto is sort of a form of easy, considering the fact that you don't have to do anything, so I guess it works. Yo, what is this pick-a-path Dorbay choose-way looking ship section, bro? What is this? Now, before we head on over to this memory ship part, I spy with my little eye one of my characters making a cameo. Well, gee willikers, it's Spicky the Curious Spike. Well, normally it's Spicky the Spike, but since it's Theory of Everything, he's curious now. I'm gonna need everyone to flood the comments with, "Hello, Spicky." Bonus points if you add the Curious Spike to the comment. But yeah, Spicky's basically the mascot of my nerfing videos. Or is he? Because, you know, my other characters exist. I say basically because there's one other character that my fans are quite fond of. I think Spicky has low-key been falling off, not gonna lie. Speaking of said character, we're on to the memory ship part, which means we get to witness the grand return of the safety sphere. I honestly love the concept of this safety sphere that protects you. And it's literally a bubble. Those things are the weakest things of all time. And allow me to introduce another character, Geo. No, not GeoGD, Geo, my character. Anyway, Geo is asking the most important question in the entire world. Is water wet? So Geo's whole purpose in this section is to give you existential questions. Is water wet? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is cereal a soup? Do mirrors have colors? You know, stuff like that. Why doesn't Cat Miggy have 100,000 subscribers yet? I don't know. But seriously, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to like and subscribe. Because if you're still here, I'm assuming you're here for the long run. And our goal is to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So if you just click that little white button, because it's white now instead of red, it'll really help me out a ton. Anyway, back to nerfing this section. I think it'll be really easy to nerf this part because we could just add slopes everywhere. Remember when I was considered the slope master? Those were good days. I am no longer a slope master anymore. I'm just a guy. But that just goes to show that I have more original ideas now instead of just placing slopes everywhere. Now, as you can see, there are a ton of safety slopes and blocks and whatnot in this section. And just like the first ship part, we're just gonna take all of this and then hide it. Now, you may be thinking, why is there a second blue gravity portal here? Well, that's because I want to take the second coin that's in this wave part and just remove it. But anyway, my plan plan is to put the coin up here. Because most people will go down in the bottom path because, you know, muscle memory. I think that's a mildly creative idea, and I really like it. And don't think I forgot about you. An easy way we could fix this is just by moving it. I have no idea how RobTop messed this up, but I mean, everyone makes mistakes. Here we have another cube part that I'm just gonna gloss over because it's a cube part, you know, very easy to nerf. We can just remove all the fakery, and that's pretty much it. I honestly have no idea what to do for these sections. We are on the 18th level, so that means they get more complex. I mean, I could probably do something with this cube part, but, like, I don't know what to do. Like, there's no good ideas popping up in my head right now. I'd like to say that these cube parts are more like break sections. You take a break from the more gimmicky sections. But one thing I do want to point out, though, is this club step monster. Or, I guess, theory monster, if that makes sense. Normally, he has a triple spike jawline. But instead, I used slopes to make the spike structure. I just kind of mirrored it both ways, so now it looks like a spike. And obviously, we have my boys, Dash and Mitri, to confirm that this is true. And our other goat, Blocky. Anyway, Mitri and Dash are the brothers of Geo, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, we're done with this cube part. Now we're on to the wave section, where we hear this epic drop in the music. Truly wonderful. Anyway, my idea for this wave part is to add a click counter. Well, that's because we're gonna make a big D block, give it a group ID, and then attach it to an advanced follow trigger. So it's kind of like the safety sphere in a way. Speaking of which, we're gonna bring the safety sphere back just to keep the level consistent. And I'm also gonna add an invisible saw blade right here just in case you don't pass the required amount of clicks. And here comes the tricky part, trying to figure out how to make the click counter. I'll report back once I finish this long and tiring process. Alright, it took a while, but now we figured out how to use the click counter. I will admit, I did look up a tutorial because I don't really know how to make click counters. But it works pretty well. If you get under 20 clicks, you die. Now it's time for the most egregious part in Toe 2. Well, actually, no, this part's actually the second most egregious because, you know, there's another part that's coming up. But danger doesn't matter for me because that means we get to nerf it even more. In my opinion, this has got to be one of the dumbest sections in any RobTop level. You're telling me that I have to memorize this section based on the color of the blocks? Like, look at this click pattern. You have to memorize this. Anyway, let's bring back the gimmick from the first ball. Make it behave like a bouncy ball. We could just make all the correct blocks have pads on them. I mean, to be fair, there's not much we could do to nerf this part without removing its whole reason why it exists. The whole reason this part exists is to serve as a memory section. And I still want to keep it that way, but we're just gonna make it easier. That's it. It's simple but effective. Wait, I just thought of a funny idea. Let's head on over to this hexagon tab, click on this X object, and just place it over the fake blocks. That's actually kind of funny, because I feel like the X's are like, don't step on these guys. Okay, so nerfing this part didn't go as bad as I expected. In fact, it's actually kind of fun. Here we have another wave section, and I kind of want to do the same thing as the one over here, just make it like a click counter. I mean, you can't die in that section, so I'm like, why not? Just do it. And luckily now, with my newfound knowledge of how to make click counters, we can very easily figure this out. Anyway, we're on to another ship part, which, let's be for real, we already know what we're gonna do. It's no secret at this point. But I will do this, though. I removed a few of the saw blades just so you could move around a little bit more. And also because I don't want to restrict the player to one way to play. Alright, now let's do a quick gameplay check, and it works perfectly fine. Yay! Next up, we have this long, dark hallway. This is what I see at 3 AM when I'm trying to use the bathroom. I think for dramatic effect, we could use a lens circle trigger, and then just make it happen immediately as you enter this part. Kind of like this. Okay, obviously we're gonna make it open up again. Yeah, I actually kind of like that, low-key. Anyway, now we're on to another cube part before... Oh, gosh. This is without a doubt one of the worst parts of any RobTop level. The deadlocked memory part excluded. Because look at how tight this section is. You better hope you don't misclick because then it's your cube's funeral. But never fear, Camp Miggy is here. Okay, that was kind of cringe. But besides that, yeah, this part definitely needs to be nerfed. And it will be fully nerfed in 3, 2, 1... And bada bing, bada boom, it is nerfed now. That was rather swift, wasn't it? But anyway, one of the worst parts of any Rob Top level is now easy. Now people won't fear this section. Now it's time for the final stretch, baby. The last few test chambers before you get your cake at the end. Anyway, we have our third and final coin. I don't know what we could do for this guy. I think instead of having this golden coin being in the most boring part of the level, we could just put it to the UFO section. I feel like that could work. Especially considering that we're also gonna nerf the UFO part, so there's that. Speaking of which, now we're on to the UFO section. Yay! Simple solution for the first act of this part, just remove these big spikes. I mean, what the heck do you want me to do? And then just add slopes because slopes equal nerf. I don't make the rules, I just enforce them. Actually, that's a lie. Yes, I make the rules. The rules of nerfing, that is. Oh yeah, I forgot to add the gravity trigger, because remember, the UFO is supposed to have lower gravity. So then it looks like you have more jump boosts. Alright, now as for the second act with all these spike blocks, I think we could just take all the tall ones and then just, like, put them down. And then we could also get rid of a few of them, because, like, why not? Alright, here's where the coin comes in. Let's just put it right here. Especially considering the rest of this UFO part is literally baby easy. It's so easy, a person who doesn't even play Geometry Dash can do it. Let's just leave the top spikes as is, because I think that's kind of funny. Okay, this part actually looks kind of empty, I'm not gonna lie. So let's just add some spinny things in the background. Are you entertained yet? Because this is the most I could do. It kind of looks like a recent tab level. But anywho, now we're on to the mini wave, which is already nerfed because the D block from earlier is still following you. I never toggled off the advanced follow trigger, so there's that. And then this Q part is like 50% auto, so it's already nerfed technically. And with that, that concludes Easy Theories the second. Anyway, if you made it up to this moment in the video, I want to thank you very, very much, as these videos really take me a ton of time to make, and I'm really glad they entertain you guys. So with that, let's move on to the showcase. Easy Theories 2 is officially on my Geometry Dash account. If you guys want to play the level for yourself, my account name is Can'tMigYT, and the ID for the level is 135, 311, and 419. But anyway guys, I think I'm done nerfing Toad 2 for today, so have a great rest of your day or night, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And I also have a membership page where you could get exclusive perks, special emojis, for $1 a month, which is a bargain in today's economy. And with that, I'm out. Adios, muchachos.